Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing my April TBR. Alright guys, so April is shaping up to be both the busiest month of all of 2025, but also the most exciting. So I was able to score a ticket to a Polycon. For those of you unfamiliar with a Polycon, it is a book convention just filled with fantasy romance authors. I went last year and I had the best time, but I wasn't able to get a ticket this year, and I was pretty positive I wasn't going to be able to go. But the bookish gods smiled upon me, and a very, very nice individual, and I do have a ticket. So I will be attending that, but that is 4 days that I will probably not get very much reading done. And then 2 nights prior to a Polycon, I'm going to be headed to New York City to the Jasmine Mass and Penn Cole signing that is taking place at Barnes & Noble, and I'm going to be meeting some friends there. So that is going to be such a good time. And then I also have a few concerts lined up in Philly, particularly the Rocket Summer. They were one of my favorite emo bands when I was in high school, and they're playing at one of my favorite venues. So April, it's gonna be amazing, but in terms of reading and this TBR, most of the books on this TBR are new release fantasy romance, and then I do have a few dark romance books at the very end. There are some audiobooks that I've been waiting for that are finally releasing in April, so I can't wait to talk about them. But for the most part, almost all of these books are fantasy romance and new release fantasy romance at that. Now, if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Patreon, Goodreads, and Instagram, all linked down below. With all that out of the way, let's talk about all the books I want to read in April. Alright guys, so starting off with my Patreon book club book for April. If you're unfamiliar with my Patreon, every month my patrons get to vote between 3 different fantasy romance books. Once a winner is decided, I make an exclusive Patreon template that you can share on Instagram. I also add the book to our Discord so we can discuss the book as we're reading it. And at the end of the month, we have a live show where we all get to talk about the book in a book club format. And it is so much fun. I really hope you can join us. And this month, our book was Firebird by Juliette Cross. I am so happy my patrons picked this one. It is one of my most anticipated reads of the year. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the plot, I don't know much about this. I kind of want to go in blind. But we are following a Roman general turned dragon shifter who becomes completely captivated by a witch who is prophesized to save his people. And this really sets up the stage for heartbreak, magic, and an epic war. It's been compared to From Blood and Ash meets House of the Dragon, and I love both of those things, so I have a feeling this is going to be a 5-star. And this is Fairy Loot's special edition, so of course they have gorgeous artwork inside the cover, and I actually haven't checked what the naked hardback looks like yet. Very simple, but very pretty. And those are the sprayed end pages. And then the reverse dust jacket has the original cover. So pretty, and I am so excited to read this with my patrons. And next up, I will be continuing the Lady of Darkness read-along that is taking place over on my Patreon with the second book, Lady of Shadows. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Lady of Darkness read-along, my patrons, along with myself, are reading one book from the Lady of Darkness series by Melissa K. Roehrich a month, and then at the end of the month, we have a discussion, a live show, where we all get to talk about the book, and we will be doing this until we finish the series. Similar to my book club, I will also be making Instagram templates exclusive for the Patreon read-along. But anyway, I had already read Lady of Darkness, so it was a reread for me. But now that I've actually started this, I've realized I never finished this second book, so this will mostly be for the first time. And I can't wait. I forgot how much I loved Lady of Darkness. The characters are so good, and I cannot wait to see where this story goes. But obviously, I cannot get into the plot of this book because it will give away spoilers. But in the first book, we are following Scarlet, and when she was very young, she was orphaned and was taken in by the Assassin Lord, who trained Scarlet along with her younger sisters to be amazing killers. So now that Scarlet has grown up, she's starting to kind of fight back against the Assassin Lord, but he has some information that she needs. All Scarlet wants is to get revenge on the Fae Fire Prince that she believes killed her mother, and the Assassin Lord knows how to get this information, but is using it to control Scarlet. That is until Scarlet finds out the kids are beginning to go missing and starts to really try to discover answers for herself, along with her friends and a mysterious stranger. And it goes from there, and it's so, so good. If you like Throne of Glass, you will absolutely love this series. It feels like a grittier, darker version, and I am loving it. So please, if you have not read the Lady of Darkness series, I hope you join our read-along. Next up, we have Kiss the Basilisk. I've been seeing this around Bookstagram, and the cover is absolutely stunning, but apparently this is a very spicy adult fantasy romance, and I believe it's the first book in a duology. But in this story, we are following Tem Varys, who has never been kissed. However, she is about to enter a very sultry competition where she must learn how to be a seductress from a basilisk, and her assigned basilisk happens to be the King of the Serpents. So she's hoping the King of the Serpents will help teach her how to win the prince's heart. But as she starts to find more about the royal family, she starts to wonder if that's really the heart that she wants to win, and the story, I guess, really progresses from there. I don't know if it's going to be a love triangle between the basilisk and the prince, or who exactly the love interest is, but it sounds really good. So far, it's getting pretty good reviews on Goodreads, so I'm very interested, and this will be one of the first books I read in April. And next up, we have The Order. Now, this is a new adult dark fantasy romance. So in a world that is ruled by privilege, the untouchables live in luxury, while the unfortunates suffer in silence. And I believe this book is a rebellion that is sparked by one of the unfortunates against the untouchables. So this has to do a lot with class distinction and uprising. Apparently this has been compared to the Hunger Games. And I heard this is a bit of a heavy read, but I'm also very interested. And it sounds like something I will enjoy. Now, I did not realize that this book is quite long when I ordered it. So this book showed up and I was like, oh my gosh, was not expecting quite this length, but I am determined to fit this in for April. Now, I will also say Amazon, I don't know what has been going on, but this came with a completely broken spine. And I'm not someone that normally cares about this kind of thing, but this book was a bit expensive, and I've noticed a lot of the books I've been getting from Amazon the quality has just really, really gone down. So I'm not sure if this was like a return book that they sent to me, but this spine is like clearly cracked. So kind of annoyed with that, and I just wanted to vent. But overall, I am very excited to read this, and if you have read this, let me know, what did you think? Next up, I'll be reading Our Infinite Fates, which is actually a YA fantasy romance. So Evelyn remembers all of her past lives, including the fact that she's been killed by the same soul in every one of them, Arden. Now with her sister's life on the line, our main character, Evelyn, has to find the immortal fate that has doomed her in every one of her lives and figure out why they have this bond before she falls in love with him and repeats the cycle all over again. So I will actually be reading this as part of a read-along with Amanda from Amanda's Booktopedia, and then Clint from Reed's Reader, and we'll be having a live show at the end of April, I believe on Amanda's channel, but I will leave all of the information down in the description below. But it's been quite a while since I've read a YA fantasy romance, and this is another book I've been seeing all over Bookstagram, so I have a feeling this is going to be a very solid read. And next up, we have another one of my most anticipated reads of the year, Enchantra. So this is a dark gothic fantasy romance by the same author that wrote Phantasma, which was so, so good. So as soon as this audiobook drops, I will be reading this book. We are following Genevieve Grimm, who is lured into this lavish Italian manor where she's then thrust into this magical game where the stakes are literally hell itself. And the only way for her to survive is to team up with the mysterious Rowan Silver and enter this fake courtship, which will hopefully save both of their lives. And I just cannot wait to read this book. So once again, I believe this book is releasing in early April, and as soon as that audiobook hits my audio app, I will be reading this book. And another book releasing in April that I've had on my radar is House of Blight. Now, this is a dark gothic fantasy romance, and we are following Adina, and she's had the power to heal since she was very young. However, every life she saves steals from her own, so she's tried to keep this power a secret. Well, that all comes crashing down when her two younger brothers become very sick with this virus known as Blight, and although she does have the power to heal, she doesn't have the ability to save them. So, when a very powerful family discovers Adina's ability, they say they can help her. If she comes and trains and tries to amplify her magic with them, they will do what they can to save her siblings. But when she gets there, she starts to uncover some mysteries about this family and their eldest son, who I believe she has a very close connection with. So once again, I've been seeing this on Bookstagram. It looks really good. Apparently, it's perfect for fans of Rachel Gillig, the One Dark Windows series. Rachel Gillig also has a adult fantasy romance releasing in May that I cannot wait for. But either way, this is another book I just cannot wait to read. And last up for fantasy romance, I have Gild by Raven Kennedy. So this will be a reread for me. I actually have a spoiler-free reading vlog of me reading the first 4 books in this series that I'll leave in the cards and the description. But I really want to do a reread since I never read the last 2 books in the series, and I believe both of them are now available via audio, and I love the characters in this series so much, and honestly, I'm really looking forward to jumping back into this world. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Plated Prisoner series, we are following RN, and this is a very loose King Midas reimagining, and RN is Midas's gilded pet. So he is Gold Touch RN and leaves her in this cage for everyone who visits the palace just to kind of view her and her beauty. Now, RN is very subservient to Midas, and all she cares about is being safe and pleasing him, and that is so frustrating throughout most of this book, but everything really changes once RN is forced to leave her gilded cage. And that is really where I'm gonna stop, because I feel like this is a better series to go into somewhat blind, but just know that RN's growth throughout this series is exceptional. It is so beautiful to follow, and I just love her as a character, and it just gets so good. So I will be rereading this series in preparation for reading the final 2 books for the first time, and I cannot wait. And moving into dark romance, I have yet another new release, My Dark Fairy Tale by Giana Darling. So Genevieve, who is seeking freedom, ends up moving to Italy, where she runs into Rafael Romero, who is as alluring as he is deadly, and she does not realize that he is the head of the Camorra, which is Italy's most feared mafia, and it's their romance. I love everything Giana Darling writes. She was my introduction into dark romance with her MMC series, The Fallen Men. So I know I'm going to love this. I don't think I've rated any of her books under 4.75, and the majority of the books I read by her are 5 or 6 stars. So I know I will love this. And next up is a last-minute addition to my TBR, so it is Little Sunshine by Layla Frost. Now, I've actually owned this book for a while. Little Dove is one of my favorite age gaps by the same author, and I purchased this as soon as it released, but there was no audio. But apparently an audiobook has released, so I cannot wait to get to this. I know nothing about this. I just know it's an age gap mafia romance. I believe the girl is named Mia, and she's a thief, and she breaks into this guy's house, not realizing he's part of the mafia, and then they enter into a romance. And if it's anything like Little Dove, it will be a 5 to 6 star read. I just love that book so much. I love the dynamic, and the spice is just so well done. So I cannot wait to read this. And last up is Bourbon and Lies. Now, I believe this is romantic suspense, and it's set in Kentucky. And in this small town, there is lore that you should never fall in love with a Fox brother because all of their women end up dying. And I think we're following one of the Fox brothers who ends up taking in a woman that is on the run from her past. And although she annoys him in the beginning, slowly they start to fall in love with each other. And then I think her past starts to catch up with her, and it's their romance. Now, I will say, I saw this book everywhere last year. Everyone was reading it, and the cover is so stunning. I love that art style. So I had a serious case of FOMO, but apparently the audiobook is dropping in April, so I will finally have a chance to read this book, and I hope it is worth all of the hype. Alright guys, that's it for the books I plan on reading in April. Please let me know down in the comments below, what book are you most looking forward to picking up next month? And I'd like to say a special thank you to my Paladin protectors, Amanda, Jess, Leslie, Lotta, Kat, Kaylie, and the San Andrea family. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. And I said this already, I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye!